1,040 days ago, it was announced that Russell T Davies was coming back as showrunner for Doctor Who. And a lot of fans got excited, saying this is the return of the golden era of Doctor Who. So, now that I've watched all of the first series with Ncuti Gatwa, did it deliver on fans' expectations? Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek. You are watching Kevin the Geek, and welcome to my review of Series 14/Series 1 of Doctor Who, the first full series featuring Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor. Now, if you have not seen any of my videos that I've done relating to the 15th Doctor, I have done reactions to every single episode, and I gave my initial thoughts at the end of each of those episodes, and those thoughts were usually within the space of about 5 or 10 minutes after I'd watched it. So I didn't really delve into the depths of it, and didn't allow myself to let those thoughts sort of settle, you know. But I have now had a bit of time, and I am going to give you my thoughts of the series overall. Now, of course, these are just my personal opinions. You may have differing opinions of your own, and you are more than welcome to share them in the comments below. All I ask is that we don't do name calling or putting people down. We just have a nice, healthy debate in the comments. That's my rules for the channel. So, this series, I will admit, I was one of those fans who was very dissatisfied with the Chris Chibnall era, and was very excited with the fact that Russell T Davies was coming on board, and the fact that you had a lot of the executive producers that were coming back on board. You had Murray Gold coming back to compose the music. It was like you had this golden team all coming back together to put things right. I won't say it was a complete success, although having seen thoughts that people have put, and there are a lot of strong opinions that have some fans arguing that this is the worst ever series of Doctor Who. I'm not going to go that far, but there were pros and there were cons. So let's start with Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor, as the titular character. I like him, and I got on board with Ncuti Gatwa pretty early on. Some Doctors, it took a little bit of a while to sort of gel with them. Peter Capaldi was one of those. I mean, I always know that Peter Capaldi is a phenomenal actor, but it did take me a while to kind of get to grips with his Doctor. Ncuti Gatwa's, you know, from the Christmas episode, I was on board pretty much instantaneously. And what I do like, which is something that is different to basically all of the modern series of Doctor Who, and arguably, you know, classic Who, this Doctor doesn't have a costume. He has basically, apart from once, he has never worn the same outfit twice. He did right at the very end of the finale of Empire of Death. He returned to, I think it was the one, it was that sort of orange one with the coat and everything. That's the only one that has sort of been repeated. Otherwise, he has had a different outfit for each episode. And when I realised that they were kind of going down that route, at first I was a bit, I don't know about that. But actually, it has kind of grown on me. The one nitpick I would probably have when it comes to costumes is they made a big deal in the second episode, the music one, the one with the Beatles, Devil's Called. They made a big point of going, we need to change and we need to, basically look era appropriate. The ironic thing is what they were wearing was pretty much already era appropriate, probably for the 60s, and they definitely would have got away with it. So, yeah, little bugbear of mine in that particular instance, but yeah, I like the Doctor having different outfits because we don't really have that, you'll have things like David Tennant. He would have his brown suit, and then they brought in the blue suit, and then sometimes they bring in his tux and little things like that. They may change the tie, may change the shirt, things like that. But otherwise, he's pretty consistent all the way through. You know what he's going to be wearing. Ncuti Gatwa, you never knew really what he was going to be wearing, and I really, really like that. Now, Ruby Sunday as a companion. For the most part, I think she was really strong. She complemented the Doctor really, really well. What I'm not so keen on is the mystery around the mother. And especially now, I've obviously seen how it ties into the overarching story. The fact that this supposed god of death, Sutek, is so utterly fascinated with the identity of Ruby's mother because it's apparently the one and only single thing in the entire history of the entire universe that he does not know. A bit wishy-washy in my personal opinion. And with the stories, let's talk about this overarching storyline and specifically as well the number of episodes that we had in this series. Now, Doctor Who has been progressively getting shorter with its series. Now, of course, again, I can't speak really that much of Classic Who, so I'm going to mostly focus this around Modern Who. But all the way through from the 9th Doctor through to the 11th Doctor, you would have 13 episodes per series. And then, of course, you would have your Christmas special, so basically 14 episodes. And on average of those, you would have anywhere from about 9 stories to 13 stories, or 14 if you include the Christmas one. And then we went to Capaldi's run, and we lost an episode of that, of the main series, we went down to 12. Then we brought in Jodie Whittaker, and her first 2 series went down to 10 episodes. Then we went down to 6. I believe that it was originally planned to be a bit longer, but of course COVID hit, and that obviously challenged things. Not that that really would have improved Flux with more episodes. If anything, it would have just dragged out the frustration that was felt by a lot of viewers for that series. And then we've gone to 8, of course, in this one, and it has apparently been confirmed that there will be 8 in the next series. My issue with shortening the series and losing basically 5 episodes, what that means is you have less room for the mediocre episodes. And that has always been the case with Doctor Who, particularly in the modern era. There will be, in any series, there will be some standout episodes. Then you'll have some pretty bad episodes. And then you'll have fluff episodes. Ones that they're not bad, they're just kind of there, And with this series, losing effectively 5 episodes, you kind of really have to hope that most of your episodes are really going to knock it out of the park. And I have to admit, I don't think in reality that really happened, let's talk about them. So, first of all, 75% of the episodes were written by Russell T Davies. 6 out of the 8 episodes were Russell T Davies episodes. It definitely leaves me with a Series 1 feel with the Ninth Doctor with Christopher Eccleston, because in a way, Russell T Davies is coming in. He's not really done anything with the show either before in the first instance or for a while in this instance. Because we're talking since 2009, Russell T Davies hasn't done anything with the show. So we're talking 15 years he's been away. And he has really matured, I think, as a writer. We've seen the various stuff that he's done. He's done like Sex Education. It's a Sin. He obviously back in the days he did things like Queer as Folk. I do definitely think he has matured as a writer and has honed his craft. But I do think as a showrunner, I think he needs to be able to let go of the reins a little bit. I think he needs to take that step back, have a slightly better overall picture, give episodes to other writers. And there are a lot of talented writers out there. I mean, of course, Stephen Moffat, he did the Boom episode. Kate Herron and Bryony Redmond, they did the Rogue episode. And then, Russell T Davies, Stephen Moffat rather, he's going to be coming back for the Christmas special, which is going to be a strange one because it's not the showrunner writing that episode. I think for possibly the first time in the modern era, maybe not. I think he needs to be able to step back a little bit and maybe just focus on maybe the start and the ending episodes. Bookend the series, let all the stuff in the middle be other writers. Because I felt it was too Russell, if that makes sense, this series. It felt a little bit too Russell. Space Babies was very much a Russell T Davies, cheesy series opener, nothing too serious. Then you brought in The Devil's Cord, which, of course, I was about to say he's one that really focuses on the overarching storyline. There's so much within that blends towards the series finale. But the thing is, in this particular kind of series, it is a situation that virtually every episode lent very hard on what is going to be happening in the series finale. You had the whole thing with Susan Triad appearing in every single episode, which it kind of makes sense. That was the whole purpose of it, to show that Susan Triad was being put at every single place that the Doctor ever landed. The one that did make no sense to me was in the Rogue episode, because in every other story you saw Susan, but in that one she was a painting. So how would she have been an angel of death if she was only a painting? That was the one that didn't make sense to me. But hey, I'm getting to the point of nitpicking now. Space Babies, it was cheesy, it was silly, it wasn't a great episode, but then again, have there really ever been that many great, series openers? Not really, to be perfectly honest with you. The Devil's Cord, my biggest issue with that is I felt, that the promise of the Beatles felt wasted, and I would say that Maestro, although had potential, it was too much for me. The character was too loud, too brash, but that was it. It was a consistent thing all the way through. There was no ebb and flow to the character. Maybe you have a really quiet, serious moment, and then you have the big, boisterous, dramatic moment, and then you go to a sort of middling level. There was nothing, there was no balance there for me personally. Boom, as an episode, I thought was pretty decent, for a sort of real-time episode. And it was fine, but And again, similar with a lot of these episodes, the stakes didn't really feel that they were there. There was no point that I ever felt really, holy crap, I don't see that this is going to get resolved. I don't see how this can even be possibly undone. I mean, like, even like the series finale, I said it in when I was doing my reaction to it, that I was like, this is going to get undone. You know, you're seeing Kate get murdered. You're seeing Rose get murdered. You know, you're seeing Mel get turned into an angel of death. You see Cherry Sunday. You see Carla Sunday. You see Mrs. Flood all get turned into dust. You're like, no, it's going to get undone. You know, if you maybe had one or two characters that snuff it, you're thinking, holy crap, these are big, heavy stakes. But you know it's going to get undone when all these different characters are all getting murdered. You're like, yeah, it's going to get undone there. And that's, like I said, that's an issue for me, that you're not getting the stakes. And that's what I really want for, you know, I know it's fictional, and I'm fine with that, but I'm just like, just, come on, make me really feel for the characters, make me feel the threat, you know. That's all I asked for, and we have done it. There has been a lot of times I'm like, holy crap, what the hell is going to happen? How is this going to get resolved? I have no idea, and I genuinely feel threat. But I don't think I ever felt it in pretty much any of these episodes. 73 yards, at this point, I would say, I think it was probably the best episode of the entire series. And of course, I will get around in the future of doing a full in-depth review to them. Obviously, I'm making my way through, and Doctor Who reviews will return, I think, probably from September. I'll give Doctor Who a little pause in the month of August, but yeah, I will do full roundups, and of course, when I do those, they will get scores, and that will give me a definitive ranking for all the episodes in the series. But at the moment, 73 yards is probably going to be the best one. Dot and Bubble is one I'm going backwards and forwards on. I hated it when I watched it. Obviously, I had to edit my reaction to it, so I've kind of seen it about 2 or 3 times now in effect. And I appreciate what they were trying to do in that episode. I do feel that they were trying to do a really good social commentary kind of episode. Maybe it's my age, and maybe my sense of frustration that I have in general, but it's not one that I think appealed to me as such. I can see where they're going with it, but maybe it's just because I dislike racists, and I dislike supremacy, and I dislike, you know, people, the crappy TikTok kind of generation, you know. Rogue just felt too familiar. It was like we're treading on everything that we have done in the past, and nothing felt new with that one. And the character, the villains were bloody crap in that one as well. And then of course you had the finale, which it was fine, and you brought back a classical villain, which I now know was from the Pyramids of Mars, which I didn't at the time, and it is one that I think I did watch many, many years ago, but it was just like, okay, this is Sutek. And at least I appreciate that they were able to bring him back, and if you were not familiar with the character, you could kind of get the gist of it as who he was as a character. But then when you have Russell T Davies going in interviews, we're so happy we brought back such an iconic character. Like, is he an iconic character? He's been in one TV story. One. In all these years, in all these 60 years. Is he that iconic? You know, if I say an iconic character, I'm thinking the Doctor. I'm thinking the Time Lords. I'm thinking the TARDIS. I'm thinking the Daleks, the Cybermen, you know, the Silurians, the Ice Warriors. Those are the kind of ones that, in my mind, stick out a little bit more so than Sutek, who, in reality, like I said, I kind of did watch Pyramids of Mars, I don't remember any of it. I'll be completely honest with you. So, yeah, I was a bit... Yeah. And the design. Like, to make him just this big dog. And I know that it is sort of based around the idea that is from, the like the Egyptians and probably like Anubis or Set or something like that. But you just look at it and you're like, it's a big dog with glowing red eyes. That's really all you can really say about it. So, look, there's a lot of people that don't like the way that the show has gone. They think it's going too woke. Again, I don't personally think it is. I personally don't think it is woke. I think it is trying to highlight it. At times, yes, it can be a little bit heavy-handed. Like Rose, the trans character. At times they, when she's been on screen, they make such a big point. Things like saying, "Oh, you're gorgeous," and things like that. At times I just go, maybe at that point you're kind of going a little bit heavy-handed. You've made the reference that she's trans. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, let's move on. Now she's just Rose. She's just Rose. That's it. You don't need to highlight it and just go, "Oh yeah, this is a female character who identifies as a female. She was born a man," and all this kind of stuff. No, she's just Rose. That's it. Deal with it. So, yeah, overall, I don't think it is as bad as some people have made it out to be. Was it groundbreaking? Was it amazing? No, it wasn't. It wasn't absolutely stunning and amazing. But, overall, it was pretty damn good. And it gives me hope that they can build on it in the same way that it did in Russell's original run. Series 1 with Ninth Doctor, there wasn't that many great episodes. You definitely had a couple, but there weren't that many. And people forget, like, you've got one of the worst episodes in that series. You had The Long Game. You had the episode Boomtown, which is one that I've sort of grown to appreciate over time. And also Father's Day is one that I kind of grew to appreciate over time. And maybe I'll feel the same with some of these episodes. But then you had episodes like with the farting aliens in that, and that was basically the same thing in this one with Space Babies. You had basically a monster that was made of bogies. It's like I said, I think there's a lot of similarities. But then Russell T Davies, David Tennant came in, and he just fine-tuned it and found the right footing and found the right balance of stuff, and it worked. And it was the golden era of Doctor Who, at least for the modern era anyway. So I'm hopeful that now we've established where we're kind of going, we can build from here. But please give us more episodes. Don't give us 8. Give us at least 11 or 12. Give us more two-parters. Give us more to build and really get to the nitty-gritty of it. Because for me, I love two-parters because you really get to flesh out the characters that you have in the story. You get the chance to really go nitty-gritty into the story itself. And sometimes in a 45 or so minute episode, it does feel a bit rushed. So, those are my thoughts on the Doctor Who Series 1/Series 14 series. The first one with Ncuti Gatwa. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Doctor Who, of course, will return on the channel. But for now, my name is Kevin. I am a geek. And you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.